Hey there, it's Chris. Welcome back to the Kai Shulin project, where we're finally kind of finishing off this upper body, this kind of torso and chest kind of area. Where last time, remember, we finally put on the chest guard itself, and we put on all these straps and whatnot on the back, and we left things off kind of looking a little rough. Everything is on here, but it's definitely like the parallel lines on like the shirts aren't 100% straight. I haven't put the fringe on the bottom of the shirt and haven't really put the fringe on the top. So everything is kind of left a little bit on the rough side. But that being said, I'm not going to tackle that part in this session. Instead, there are two main focuses I want to get done in this one. And that is if we come onto this image here, you can see kind of under her left arm there to the side of the chest, kind of up in here, she has the knife that's kind of tucked in there. And I want to make these arms detachable again. So you can pull them on, take them off when I harden it. That'll be good to go. After that, off camera, I'm going to go and do a lot of these little kind of touch-up things because all it is kind of time waster. It's not really going to show you how to do anything at this point. Now it's just refining. So after those two things are done, I'll touch up stuff off camera and I'll go and I'll harden this section off camera. And then when we come back, it'll either be the arms, the head, the rifle, the detail stuff. It'll be something else. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we will harden this part off camera. And then next time we'll come back and start something new. So that said, coming to our friend the knife over here, if we come back to this image, and give me one sec, that did not, hold on, computer things. All right, here we go. On the image, they give us a nice little kind of detail-y on what's going on here, which is good. So as you can see on the image there, on the kind of the horizontal band is this. That's the strap that comes across, and the knife is then the vertical part. So at least we have a little bit of a visual we can go with on that. And as with most things we have, I'm not just going to make a knife as is. I'm going to use a piece of something solid in here so that it actually has some kind of support inside. So I may not have done much on the way of kind of touching up some of these areas, but I did at least get a rough measurement on this. It winds up being roughly an inch long in the end. So if I were to come down here, I can measure, that's what we are pretty much an inch. So I'm going to cut this guy actually a little over. So if I take something like that, and if I can try to find where these guys are. Alright, so if we're going to be an inch, we want to be... Whoop. Now, as with the knee pads on this, I'm going to want this to kind of be removable, because if I keep this kind of just installed as is, A, it's going to be kind of harder to paint around, and B, at the same time, it's going to block the heat from getting behind it, so the immediate kind of clay right behind it isn't very likely isn't going to harden correctly. So... okay, so what I'm keeping is the shorter end of this is actually the length of the knife. So what I want is to get kind of the midpoint. That's not 100% the midpoint. Let's try that again. And effectively, that's the side of our knife, and we're just going to have that stick right in. So we're actually still a little bit long over here, which is easy to fix. Just need to take this. Not have things go flying around this time. And effectively now that's our knife, and we have a little handle so we can just kind of then poke that in, and done. So we still have stuff left over from last time. All I want to do is get the camera facing the right way for once on these projects if I can. I feel like the last couple times I've done things, the camera has not been my friend at all. And okay, actually what I want is a thinner piece because I want to glue this on there, so I want kind of a thin piece just to kind of glue on just enough to make this work. Okay, so that's like a 2. I can glue that on. That's going to give me my good backing, and then from there we're going to be fine. Alright, so we still have our friend the crazy glue here, which is for $2. This is still lasting the entire project. Haven't had issues yet, although I believe I did just run out. So I forgot I had that issue last time I was trying to glue whatever it is I was trying to glue. So, one sec, this is why they come in 2 packs. And maybe let's get this one off the table before that gets confused with something that it shouldn't be confused with. Okay. Now, the problem with starting the new tubes of this is it tends to come out real quick. So let's hopefully keep this under control this time. That would be great. And next time, I'm not going to go ahead and say, oh wow, I'm sure surprised the thing has lasted as long as it has. Because the second you do, that's like the death knell for it. That means it will surely die after that. Alright, so I just have that, so I'm just gonna plop that down there. Let's go ahead and put the cap back on here, get it out of the way. And all I want to do is just kind of get a base layer of clay around this thing. Maybe cut the end off there, maybe cut the end off down here. We don't need all of this. Usually kind of the first piece you put on becomes all inundated with the glue stuff, so I'm just trying to get a decent chunk of this excess off of here. And then I can reapply it later. But it's going to save a little bit of frustration on this. And part of this is nice being removable, like I said, for the reasons I gave. The other is, once this actually goes in here, I'm not 100% sure how nice or not nice of a profile this is going to change things. Does it change the profile? Because we still have to put this on here, the camo on here, which, although that shouldn't really make a difference, you can see it's kind of hollow on the side, so that shouldn't actually be a problem with this. But if it were to become a problem, having this detachable is also kind of nice just to play with that. Okay, so we have this. Now, let's see if we can make you look like what you're supposed to look like. Now, because I kind of folded it back on itself, it's going to wind up probably a little wider than I want it to be. But at the same time, it is in a sheath, so I guess that's not really a problem. It's not necessarily just a knife blade. We are doing stuff with it. And hopefully this part goes by pretty quick. Although, detaching the arms should be relatively quick. I'm not uber concerned about that. But it would be nice if this also kind of goes somewhat expediently. Okay, so we want you... So I think this fat part here is going to be the bottom. The skinny part here I'm going to make the top. So the important thing first is to kind of get the shape right. So that means carving that up. really what I should do is probably pack this thing in here real quick. If only because if I get all the details on and then try to push it, big old thumbprint right here. It's going to ruin everything. So let's see. So how do we want you? So you kind of want to be under the arm, kind of sticking up like that-ish. Maybe a little higher up. Maybe it's something like that, I'm thinking. It would be good. You can reach with the arm around, you can grab the handle here, pull it down. Seems to be something like that. And really that shouldn't affect anything in terms of the cloak or the camo, where I keep the poncho. I keep changing the terminology for it. Okay, so at least now if that's in there, I can harden this thing separate from the rest of this as well, which I may ultimately do. The hole is now made here. So I may just go ahead, make this thing, and then just harden it 100% separate from when I harden that. Which again, I don't have, you can see I don't have my rotisserie down here. I don't have my oven down there. So I'm not going to be hardening it in this session. I just want to have these pieces ready to go this session for it. Again, you've already seen one hardening. You kind of know from that, you kind of have an idea of how that works. And I have the wrong image up here. We probably want this. Might be a little more helpful. Okay. Yeah, at this point now, I'm pretty well healed up from the race. It's now Thursday that I'm recording this. Again, this is going up tomorrow because I'm a little behind on things, only because the race kind of messed everything up. Most of the stuff I do recording-wise is done on weekends. I generally don't do that much on the weekdays, even between this and the gameplay stuff. It's generally been done on weekends, and I lost last weekend, so that's why I'm a little more behind than I usually am, but as long as I can make it, I think as long as I get this video done, I'm going to be fine from here on out. So I just need to do that. Okay, so it looks like from here, the handle gets a little bit wider. So let's go and pop. Handle is approximately halfway on this. So I can wrap this around. And already we're starting to look like a steak knife or something. Or at least it's slowly getting that kind of effect on it. Now from here, as long as we have the ridge on the front, I don't need the entire thing to be this wide. So I can scale back some of this stuff from back here, because it's getting a little fat. We don't need it to be that fat. Yeah. When the knot in my back, like kind of between the shoulder blades, started healing itself, it did so I think a little weird and started pulling my tricep, which was kind of interesting. And what that ultimately did was it pinched a nerve going down my left arm. And that kind of lasted for about a day or so. I kind of looked up a bunch of stretching things and whatnot I can do to relieve that, and thankfully that worked. So with that part now taken care of, I'm pretty well back to normal. Again, if I weren't doing this stuff, I'd probably just go for a quick run tonight, just to kind of loosen things up. But I think I'm going to hold off and start workouts again up on the weekend. Or at least, again, they're not going to be formal workouts. I don't officially have something I want to train for, but I'd like to at least stay in shape. Now that I usually kind of do like at least 1 or 2 kind of runs or something a week, just enough to kind of not lose everything I'd gotten before. But at the same time, since the race, I'm kind of I'm kind of in that mood to do something else. I don't know if it's because I didn't finish this one or what it is, but I'm kind of in that mood to do another something. I'm not sure what. I'm not really in running shape or racing shape. I put myself into good hiking shape before, but I'm not sure I want to do that type of race. They're a bunch of like kind of, I could always do like 5Ks or 10Ks or something like that, but I'm not in that type of shape at the moment. I'm in the slow grind kind of thing, so I'm not really in an ability to do that. But I don't know, part of me just kind of doesn't necessarily want this to be over yet. All right, we're looking a little wide, so let's skinny you up a little bit. Okay, we're starting to get a screen that is not zooming in properly. But let's see, can we see up against? So yeah, we're starting to get that kind of feeling to it. We're a little wide, it's a little fat, but we do have all the wire in here, so there's only so much I can do about that kind of situation. Okay, but if we have that, let's see. That's not the tool I'm looking for. That's the one I'm looking for. Now, good thing is we're looking at a sheath and not the knife itself, so we can have a little 3D kind of effects going on here. Yeah, considering that it is a sheath, that does make life a little easier. What also makes life easier is I don't really need to worry about the back. At least the back end of the handle is 100% kind of wedged against the body. You can kind of see the back end of the blade as it sticks out, so I need to do maybe a little something on that. But I don't really need to kill myself on details on the back here. Especially as I'm pushing down on the back. Again, with clay, if you push down somewhere, it's going to move somewhere else. So I'm going to be pushing it kind of into my finger as I go. So as I do one side, I do run the risk of kind of affecting the other side adversely. So that is something to keep in mind when doing this. But I think as long as we get the general feel of this, and again, if I get the basic form in front of you, I can refine a little bit of stuff off camera. And what do we have? We have a couple little dots that kind of go on here. Maybe this is the way to go ahead with the dots. Okay, so we have, I don't know if you can see those, we have little dots on that. Again, just because you can kind of see the back, kind of. We're going to put the little dots on that as well. Even if I can't see the ones on the one side, because the metal is right there. So that takes care of the sheath part of this. So then we have the handle we need to work on, and the handle is a little thicker, but again, I can't do anything with that just because of the way that I made this with the wire coming out. We are kind of stuck with the thickness on that, which isn't really a problem, I don't think. I'm not feeling too bad about that. And I can bring it in just a little bit. Got to kind of make a little grip. Making the grip is good. And this kind of has the same kind of outline as the other part, where we kind of squish in the edge here while leaving the center pretty well protruding out just a little bit. I hope you can see. I'm not seeing much when I'm looking at my computer here. Again, my preview is like a little 2-inch by 4-inch little tiny preview thing, so I'm hoping you can actually see the details, because from my vision from behind this camera, it's not looking too terrible. Now there's some scroll work down on the bottom here. It looks like they signed it if you look at the very bottom image of that, and I'm not doing that part. I gotta draw a line somewhere. Actually, let's use you. We're gonna make these just a little bit bigger. That's one of them right there. One comes out towards the front there. And then there's another kind of towards the back. Okay, so we have a knife in the sheath, and that was actually, is that actually correct? We have less than 10 minutes into this. Nice. Either that or I don't have a stopwatch going. I don't have my stopwatch going. That's awesome. So I don't really know what time I started this. I thought I'd started a stopwatch. Oops. So I have absolutely no idea how long this video has been going for at this point, but I have a stopwatch starting right now. So that's super cool. But we do have ourselves a little knife. And I'm okay with this. And like I did on the other side, I can go and put a little bit of detailing on this side. Why not? This side will not be visible in any way, shape, or form, but I can just add a little something to it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this little knife thing and I'm just gonna set that aside someplace. I don't want to stick it in here now, because again, I want to be pushing my finger into this. It's going to destroy all the little details. So I'm just going to set that aside, and I may do little touch-ups on that guy later. We're just going to go ahead and call that knife Dunzo right now. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, the reason I thought that took less than 10 minutes, because I looked at my watch and said, oh, 8:50. It's like, oh, wow, 8 minutes, 50 seconds? No, it is 8:50 at night right now. Whoops-a-doodle. Okay, so the big thing I needed to have the arms on here to kind of dictate how big to make the shirt. But when it comes to hardening, I don't want these arms on here. I want them to be taken apart. So we need to recut them back out. And I would think preferably I'm kind of following along this shirt kind of profile. I'm going to pull this whole section off. And I need to make a kind of a core or cap or something on here, so when I put it back, it can only go in like the one direction that I'm going to want it to go. It's not going to be able to flop around once I get it in there. So whereas right now there is one wire, just the arm wire that goes in, I'm going to add a second one that kind of sticks out just a little bit. So when this thing shoves in, it's not going to be rotatable. So first thing I want to do is very carefully try to cut around this shirt. Because if I put a seam right smack like over here or something, that means when I join it back up, I need this to be perfect. It's going to be much easier to hide a seam if it's between two separate areas or between like two separate materials. So going from skin to shirt is going to make that kind of situation easier to hide. That said, it is entirely possible to do a seam right in like the middle of the arm. I just haven't had experience doing that type of thing. All the ones I've done have been like generally down in here where I've gone between one area and another. And when I have matched them up, they haven't matched up particularly well yet. So I'm not super confident in my ability to make, say, a seam just, I hate saying the word randomly, but kind of randomly in the middle of the arm. I'm not sure I have the skill yet to make that work. If I did, that would probably make things quite a bit easier. But as it stands, that's going to be... I will save that type of situation for another time. If I have like maybe a character who's like wearing a swimsuit or something, or you have like a bikini top or something like that where there's no way to get around having to put a seam in like an awkward place. But otherwise, if I have a chance to like deal with clothes and stuff like that, you can usually kind of find a place where two things come together and just kind of make it work. So that's just what I'm gonna go with. Sometimes it's good just to kind of know where you stand on things. And right now where I stand on this is that it doesn't want to come off. Despite the fact the knife is all up in there and it does not want to go. Something holding. Something is holding. It's not glued. So I know that's not it. But okay, I can feel up top, clink, 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 I'm hitting. I feel like I've cut all the way through down there. Okay, I'm trying to pull straight out. It looks like it wanted to go down just a little bit. And that was kind of the issue. Okay, so that's what we're going to be dealing with. So what I want to do is I want to clean this up a little bit. Kind of flatten everything out. Okay, so what I think I want to do is I want to take just a little bit in here out. Not much, just so I'm leaving like an 1/8 inch kind of reveal around the side there. Just a little something. I'm just going to carve this in. Okay, there we go. Okay, we are visible on there. Now, this is all kind of new to me. I haven't had to do this thing before, but it's kind of, it seems like it makes brain sense to me, so we're just kind of going with it. So that when I do the arms, I can then kind of insert the arms into this, and we should be okay. Oop. Come on. Get out there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's just kind of even this out, get this side a little bit. Okay, let's smooth out the edges. I do want this to definitely be smooth. This outer edge, the outer rim for sure, I want to be kind of smooth. I'm turning things away from the camera. It's like it's helpful to me, but it's not helpful to you. So let's see if I can keep things that are within the realm of reason for both of us to kind of experience what's going on. Okay, so I put you... Oh, it does not like going in. Yeah, once I get that to kind of go, I can then mold this. God, this thing is going to be annoying. Oh, that thing is going to be a thing of things. I'll be honest, I'm not sure it's going to need a second coat of anything on here, because once I fill this kind of void, that's going to keep this thing from sliding anyway. And so I think if I need a second piece or second wire coming in, what I can do is after this is hardened, I can always drill another hole in here and then stick a wire in, kind of glue it inside and have it stick out. And we have kind of two wires coming in. But as this thing is so hard to get in and out as it is right now, I'm actually not going to be super concerned about, wow, she looks really bad on camera now. But I'm not going to be super concerned with that. Okay, so we got that. Let's do side number 2. Gonna get this side, get this one cut out, kind of get it prepped, and then that's where we're gonna call this video with however long it is. Because like I said, I actually have. This is probably the first video I've ever done where I have literally no idea how long this thing has been going for. Because I thought I set. Usually I go and I just kind of keep a watch or just to watch. I'll see what kind of time I start, and I kind of go from there. But it's like, no, I'll actually set my watch this time. I'll make a. I'm just gonna record it, see like time out for an hour, then we're gonna be good. And I actually never. I pushed the wrong button apparently on my watch. Oh my goodness, that one actually came out really easy. Why couldn't the first one do that? Okay. So we're going to do the same dealy with you. Kind of flatten out the side. And carve a bit inside here. Now I'm already hitting the wire up top on that. I can feel it. So I'm only going to get so far into some of this. But this should be good towards making an arm that's removable. All right, we're almost there. Almost there. It's like a motto. We're close. We're never quite, but we're always almost. And this is good. This will get me to the weekend. And then once I get to the weekend, then I'm set. Then I can definitely catch up. That said, I believe I'm going to do the final gaming recording. If I remember what's left of the game vaguely, I should be able to do the final recording of that this weekend. And like I said, once that is in the books, then I shouldn't have any more issues of staying ahead of the game on this side of things. And I'm starting to think next time if I do another model based off a game and I kind of want to play it and kind of put it in the background kind of thing, I gotta find a shorter game. That one, it took some time. It's a fun game, but it took some time to go through. And it feels like it's beaten me on a number of occasions, but overall, hasn't been too bad. I will be curious to see my A rank stuff if I were to reload my saves from the first time through, because I haven't actually done that. And I'd be curious to see how my gameplay this time is compared to the first time. But I feel like I'm in general doing better than I was the first time through it, but that said, I do not know for sure. Okay, so I kind of don't want to mess up the top of that. Let's see, we have the basic thing going on here, which is good. So we have detachable arm area there. We have detachable arm area there. So then I can harden this, and then we can go, and then afterwards, let me make sure this thing goes back in. That would be kind of nice. That one goes in nice and easy. I don't see any extra clay on this one. Why is this one being hard? Yeah, then we can go and we can pop on and off, and that is our goal. So that much is good. That is good, that is good, that is good, that is good. Oh, I guess the other thing I didn't do was these two straps up here, how it kind of floats, it kind of pops out. I think I'm just going to keep them tight inside like that. And I can just kind of carve a point on the edge of it. Just because it makes things a lot less complicated when it comes to doing the camo stuff if those do not stick out. So I'm just going to leave that in. This one's already kind of a point, so that's saving some work right there. Oh, I booped the chest over here a little bit. All right, well, there are going to be a whole bunch of touch-ups. I do need, one thing I've noticed is when I come back after like a recording or like rewatch recording, I look on the camera and everything looks really terrible. And part of that is, again, I'm sitting maybe 6 inches behind the camera, so the camera is actually zoomed in more than my eyes can see when I'm recording stuff. So things tend to be a lot rougher that you're seeing than I am seeing until I go in afterwards. So yes, I know this looks really rough now. I will do a lot of kind of touch-ups and cleanups and all that. Well, actually, now that the arm is off, I can at least, I shouldn't have to push in particularly hard. Yeah, I can just kind of lightly pop that in. Pop you on. And yeah, that's where we're going to call it on this time. So now, after this is, the knife feels like it's too far back. I got to move the knife forward a little bit, but I can redo a hole for that further up, not a problem. So yeah, so off camera, I'm going to go smooth all this stuff out. I'm going to make it good. I'm going to kind of go and do these kind of bottom chamfers all the way around like I did here. I'm going to do the same on the top, just to kind of finish off the shirt. Then let's kind of clean some things up, kind of re-straighten some of these lines out, kind of make it look good. I'm going to harden all of that, and then next time I'm leaning towards just getting the arms done, and then we'll have really the body here in place. And then we'll see from there. After the arms, it would either probably be the poncho / camo next, or I may come back down and do these, and we have this entire body section finished. But yeah, no, that's where we are right now. Can we kind of zoom in and see what that looks like back there? Kind of. It kind of gets a visual, but yeah, no, that'll be exciting stuff. Finally moving on to something else again, which is good. We took like 8 sessions to do the legs. It's like, I think it was 4 sessions now to do the upper body here. And we can then move on to the next part. And until then, and until we get to the next part, we're just going to do the usual enjoy.